welcome back to Soundcheck. I'm Brent.
And I'm Walter.
It's Tuesday, November 2nd, and we just got out of Baltimore Soundstage seeing Jpegmafia.
It was awesome. Fantastic crowd, and I'm super happy for a Tuesday night that yet again doesn't fail for us, at least, to be like super nice and super energetic. First act was Z-Loopers, or Z-Loopers, however you say it. But he was super energetic. He opened up with a phrase I'm really familiar with, Bruiser Brigade, and immediately I knew he was associated with Danny Brown, and then I did a little quick research on his like Facebook, and then he was associated with Danny Brown. He also has that little thing that like Danny Brown does with his like voice, and kind of like uses his nasal cavity to kind of achieve like a Cypress Hill type of voice that Danny also uses. And yeah, he was super energetic. Didn't know any of his songs going in, but I can tell that like I'm a fan from there on out.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about him going into it, and right away I picked up with his vocals. I was like, man, he sounds kind of nasally. It's kind of like Danny Brown. And then like soon after that, Walter picked up that like producer tag and recognized it and looked it up and saw that they were affiliated, so it made sense. And yeah, he was cool. His beats and instrumentals were interesting. They were accessible, but there was always like something a little off kilter about them. Like he would just have like weird samples of like, I don't know, almost like a creaky door, or there was like one song with these like intentionally out of tune piano keys.
His beats are also kind of like bubbly and kind of kiddish in a way. Not kiddish in like a bad sense, but like it kind of, I guess, like synth sounds kind of just sounds like very
I know what you mean. Like I think there was like a xylophone for one of the songs, and another one was almost like one of those like toy kid pianos.
I think colorful is a good word to use. Like they're very like happy, and then like the bass, like that Soundstage like did a really good job with mixing today, and I feel like it's a lot easier because it's like a laptop plugged into the front of house, and I think it was a lot easier to control the mix that way versus like we're used to seeing like full bands like where the sound engineer has to like mix, I guess, bass guitar, both guitars, and then highly distorted guitars on top of that, and then mixing the vocals and drums on top of that, like a lot of loud instruments trying to cut. And I feel like with like this setup, it was just a lot easier for the vocals to cut, and then like the bass to like fill the whole room without muddying the mix of like the beats behind it. And I think Soundstage originally was meant to be like a club, I guess, for like non-instrumental groups, from what I remember, and it I mean kind of shows because it's kind of soundproof like that.
Yeah, the mix was definitely solid tonight, and the crowd was there for it. Super energetic the whole night for a Tuesday night. People came out for it, and it was a great time.
Like there was a low ticket warning for this show, and then I didn't think it was gonna sell out, but it felt really full. I think it was the most open that I've ever seen Soundstage. Like there was just like one merch table, and that was just for Jpegmafia. And then like they turned like the ticket booth into like a bar for a quick minute. Slowly the room starting to like fill up with people coming in for JPEG. But like I think a lot of people missed the openers, and like, I think they missed out on a really good time, and it's awesome.
Definitely. Yeah, this was my first time back at Soundstage since lockdown and everything. You know, been to Black Cat and Franklin Music Hall and the Fillmore now. So yeah, finally glad to be back at Soundstage. And then Jpegmafia killed it. We missed him, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that, around this same time of year, November, where he was at Auto Bar. He played like 2 nights in a row. They both sold out. Was stoked to see him now. I saw him once before at Firefly, and he super got my attention and got me into it after that. And I mean, he was just crazy energetic, screaming. He did a cover of Call Me Maybe, and he performed that on the bar. He was like everywhere. He was in the crowd. Security was like constantly trying to follow him and keep people away from him, and he just kept like diving into the crowds.
You know, that's what I really liked about both performers today. They were super interactive with the crowd, and like I don't really see that with a lot of bands, but I guess it all depends on the band and how their preferences interacting with the crowd. But like I guess as a one-man show, you have to like make yourself a bit more interactive than usual versus versus just like kind of like walking back and forth from the stage. And I feel like my easy pass. And yeah, just it was just kind of really awesome just to see artists not being afraid to like go up in the crowd's face and like demanding walls of death and pits, and like the crowd was there for it. Like, I'd say it definitely had way more energy than your typical like Monday night, I guess, rock show. Like, it was really badass. And I like the mixture of the crowd too. You can tell when people were coming from like different backgrounds of like music. I mean, also like what they're into. I saw a lot of Rick and Morty shirts, saw a lot of like Pokemon shirts, and there's the guy like honking his horn behind me for like no reason. I'm also parked. You also saw a good amount of like metalheads. Like, I guess like people who listen to rock, not quite metal, but I was wearing my Turnstile shirt, like feeling like it would be appropriate. I saw some people wear like there's Misfit shirts. I guess overall I got a general hipster vibe from that crowd, and I like the mixture.
Yeah, it was a cool variety of people at the show, different musical tastes and interests, and the crowd was like setting themselves up. They were already like splitting for walls of death and like priming themselves for circle pits and stuff like that. Like, they were ready to go. Like, Peggy didn't even have to command anything. They were just there for it. And it was good stuff. It was, seeing it live again just reminded me how like unique many of his songs are. He played a few songs from his new album recently, LP, which Walter and I both really liked, and I think might even be one of my favorites of his. My other favorites being, what's that one? It's like Slow Communist Jams, and then All My Heroes Are Cornballs.
I love that one.
It's not quite as aggressive as some of his previous albums, but I've liked his albums because they're very...
I think you mentioned earlier that they sound like him. Like, he like produced it himself, and like one of the few artists where you can like deep dive into like the artist's mind and like what he truly sees in like his artistic creation.
Yeah, like he has his hands on every aspect of it. So each album is like a glimpse into his head. And so it's just like wholly his own. For better and worse. Like, a lot of his albums, I like a lot of individual songs, but not really the whole albums as a cohesive thing. But LP, I just thought like flowed together really well, and it was kind of softer, and just, I don't know, the samples and the hooks, everything was just so catchy and flowed together nicely. Agreed.
And one song in end credits actually featured a sample of like an Animals as Leader song, Monomyth. Like, when I first heard it, I was like confused because I was like, I recognize these tones, but it's slowed down. And then eventually I went on Reddit and like just kind of like searched up like samples from end credits Jpegmafia, and then someone kind of pointed it to Monomyth, and I was like, I knew exactly where that section is, and now I can't unhear it. And I think it's really cool because that song recently came out, and I guess he reached out to Tosin or like Javier to like, I guess just Animals as Leaders, to kind of like use that sample in a song. And I think that's really kind of really cool.
That's super cool. Yeah, JPEG definitely has like his finger on the pulse of like internet culture and just like recent music trends and stuff, and you know, his samples and lyrics and interests are just like kind of like his fans and his music, just a whole mishmash of all of the things he's into.
Yeah, I kind of like I don't know how to say, like, I feel I want to say honored because I can't feel honored for the entire genre, but I guess I feel happy that he might be a fan of Animals as Leaders.
Yeah, like glad to be acknowledged.
Yes, I think that's a better term to use. But yeah, I mean, I give that show like today like a good like solid 9.1. I think a 9.1 out of 10 is super solid. It was also my like second rap show, so I don't really have anything else to compare it to unless, except Tyler the Creator, which I saw like a few years ago. That was actually really tight.
That's right. I've only really seen rappers at like festivals where there's like big lineups, there's multiple people and stuff. So I think this might be my first show of like going to a venue specifically for, you know, opener and headliner, just like entire set of rappers. And it was awesome.
Yeah, like I know Danny Brown came by I think like 2 to 3 years ago to Soundstage. I missed him because I think it was like a weeknight and I had to like work on my other job. But like definitely wish I would have went to go see it because I feel like that show would have been equally as like energetic, if not bubbly, you know?
Yeah, he'd be really fun to see live. I definitely appreciated the faster setup times with them. Like you said, having just a laptop and a mic to set up.
Oh my God, yeah. Like they literally were just like, all right, be right back. And then just like left the same laptop on the stage and then I guess waiting for like the artist to come on. Because I'm assuming they're probably either using the same mic or the same mic is just, or not. I won't even assume that they're using the same mic. They probably have like two mics, wireless mics just connected to the front of house. And then they were able to move around. I actually really like that about JPEG as well. Because like he was super interactive with the crowd, and it actually felt really personable, especially when he played 1539 North Calvert Street. Yeah, and I think that's a venue, an old venue that got shut down, or like doesn't exist anymore. But when he played that song, when he played any song, the crowd just went apeshit. And he could just say something and the crowd would just be jumping up and down and I would be fighting for my life for like space around me. Had to like tie my shoe like 3 or 4 times. It was definitely like a workout.
Yeah, as for my rating, I had a lot of fun. Maybe like 8.5.
Yeah.
Hope that's not too low. I want it to be pretty solid.
It's a solid show.
Yeah. 8.5 to like 9. Yeah, it was definitely a great show.
Agreed. Like mine was like a 9.1, I think. It was. I know. I loved the vibe. It was exquisite.
Exquisite. And on that note, I think that's everything. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This was Soundcheck. I'm Brent signing off.
Walter signing off, and thank you for checking us out. Good night.
Peace.